Hi there, I'm Adeline, and it is so nice to meet you. Welcome to the 60-second Celebrity Synastry chart reading where we will be covering Emma Roberts and Garrett Hedlund. For those new and returning, I take notes on a Synastry chart looking at the personal planet signs aspects and if birth times available house overlays. I also add my extra insights and interpretations along the way. Feel free to leave your own in the comments below. Before we start the reading, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more Celebrity Synastry chart readings. Let's get into it. Starting off with the sun signs, we have Emma's sun in Aquarius and Garrett's sun in Virgo. It's mentally harmonious and they are a good intellectual team. Garrett brings structure to Emma's life and Emma helps Garrett to be more open-minded. Emma's sun overlaid in Garrett's 4th house. Sense of familiarity, Garrett trusts Emma deeply. Strong desire to live together, potentially while they got married and everything. Garrett feels secure around Emma and Emma feels they belong together. Garrett is very protective of Emma and they are both committed to each other, so yeah, all notes with that would indicate why they got married in the first place. Garrett's sun overlaid in Emma's 9th house. They teach the other and it's a great and enduring friendship. Relationship of mental stimulation, we're seeing again, mental stimulation, intellectualness. Both share similar views and they both influence the other to be more culturally aware. I have no idea about these two, where they come from specifically. As far as I know, they're both American, but, different parts of America, very different cultures anyway. Garrett's sun opposite Emma's Venus. Their values conflict and they frustrate each other. Emma grows to resent Garrett. Emma sees Garrett as too dictatorial and Emma can play games with Garrett. Garrett needs to learn to accept Emma and hard work is needed to make this work. Garrett will either not appreciate Emma or take her for granted. Yikes. Garrett's sun square Emma's Mars. Sparks fly and there's competitive nature here. Tendency to interrupt each other, potentially why they would frustrate the other, especially on Emma's end, like maybe why she sees Garrett as being too dictatorial if he cuts her off a lot. Individual egos create problems and it's productive to work on a mutual goal. I guess depending on what that mutual goal is, both need to stop focusing on the details. Garrett feels challenged by Emma's dominance, so I assume this is where, the individual egos would create problems. If, because thus far they're both seeing each other as being a bit more dominant and a bit more assertive. Individuals need to respect each other's natural habits, definitely if you live together. Over time, get more annoyed with each other. I'm not liking, we're already seeing deteriorating factors. Garrett's sun, Trine, Emma's Uranus. They start as friends and Garrett inspires Emma. Frequent changes occur definitely with their careers. I assume Garrett's an actor, so I'm actually not really sure, but Emma is an actress, and I assume there would be a lot of changes in her career. Thus, in the relationship, they get each other's humor and it's a relationship of experimentation. Encourage the other to be themselves. I would assume this is more onto Emma's bit because we did just see that Garrett needs to accept Emma for who she is, so there's a strong attraction and Garrett thinks of Emma as inspiring and exciting. Emma tries to keep the relationship interesting. Garrett may feel threatened by Emma's need for freedom. Both need to encourage the other's independence. Garrett's sun, Trine Emma's Neptune. It's tolerant and forgiving, and Garrett strengthens Emma's ego, attuned to each other's feelings, and Emma inspires Garrett to be creative, which we did see before, she inspires him to be more open-minded, I believe, so that's there. So now it's time for moon. We have Emma's moon in Capricorn and Garrett's moon in Sagittarius. Both enjoy their independence here, so yeah, they seem to maintain their independence. Garrett doesn't seem the happiest that Emma is maintaining hers, but we'll see more hopefully. Potential to be great friends, so it seems like they definitely started off as friends here. Garrett is an optimist, Emma is a pessimist. Both want different types of relationships. That's not great, especially if you're married to each other. That's have a discussion first. Both can help with the other's weaknesses. Emma's moon overlaid in Garrett's second house. Emma values Garrett as a source of emotional satisfaction. Garrett may feel unsure about Emma, and they both see each other as valuable. With Garrett feeling unsure about Emma, potentially there is conflict whether he appreciates her or takes her for granted, maybe. Garrett may become possessive of Emma. It seems like it's a practical relationship. Garrett's moon overlaid in Emma's first house. Both feel safe expressing their feelings. We have been seeing that. That's the good thing in this relationship. Garrett brings out a sensitive Emma, and Garrett feels immediately safe with Emma. It's a tender and warm relationship. Their moons are conjunct together, so they're intuitive with each other, and they both have in-tune moods, which we see again, I believe. They accept each other's feelings, and they like to support each other. Tendency to get passive aggressive, yikes. I have to assume this is why, and just another deteriorating factor. Like, we did see that their egos tend to play a bit of a role in this relationship or create issues, and they tend to interrupt each other.
Now for the intermission. This video is brought to you by me, my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. If you ever watch this and think, hey, I would like her to read my Synastry chart, well, I will. I do personalized Synastry chart readings on my Etsy store. I do both basic and detailed ones. The basic ones are a bit more simple to understand and really good for those just beginning out in astrology, getting their heads around it, or just as a fun gift idea. The detailed readings are very similar to what I do here, so it's a lot of it just with my insights and interpretation on the chart. So if you're interested in that and everything else, astrology and tarot, readings and gifts, definitely check out my Etsy store for that. I'm always releasing new other things there as well. And you can even just favorite the store just to support me for free. Thank you for listening, and let's get back to the reading.
Emma's moon trine Garrett's Mercury. Comfortable talking to each other about everything, and Garrett enjoys being emotionally nourished by Emma. So she seems to really come out here in a more emotional sense. She's being more sensitive and more vulnerable, and with that potentially being a bit more nurturing. Garrett provides a foundation for Emma's feelings. Yeah, she seems to feel, safe with him and everything. Garrett is comfortable expressing his feelings with Emma, and it's a harmonious relationship. Emma's moon square Garrett's Venus. Previous relationships negatively impact this relationship. I'm not sure on Garrett's end, but with Emma's end, I have to assume this would be Evan Peters. There's a strong connection, and Garrett may struggle with his self-worth. Emma may not be able to provide Garrett with the emotional nourishment he wants. Yikes, because he does seem to want that from what we just saw, and potentially, she does to some extent do it, but maybe not 100%. Both need to resolve their internal issues for this to work, which we saw earlier, kind of with, individual egos create problems, so them as individuals need to really work on themselves. Their values are in conflict, I believe we see again. Both tend to take each other for granted. Yeah, we did see that on Garrett's end with Emma. Both need to learn to compromise. Living beyond means will create strains. Both may feel misunderstood. Both like each other, but not their habits. That's kind of concerning. It seems like maybe that they did like each other, but living together was just a different story. Both will learn how to cooperate, and Emma sees Garrett as a narcissistic, going back to how she sees him as dictatorial, so Garrett does not always understand Emma's emotions, and Garrett sees Emma as needy, yikes. Emma's moon conjunct Garrett's Jupiter. Easy to overdo and be excessive. I assume this would be in terms of, we saw living beyond means, creates strains, so it makes sense there. It's a relationship of opportunities and fortune. Positive influence as a couple. I'm not sure what they did together. Maybe they worked on something together. I'm not sure that's there though. They need to learn balance. They take risks as a couple. They support people in need, and Emma feels luckier and more adventurous around Garrett. Garrett expands Emma's way of thinking about life. So it seems like that they do seem to have that intellectual rapport, which is why I assume they were attracted to each other in the first place and had that good, friendship foundation. Emma's moon conjunct Garrett's Neptune. Emma makes Garrett feel safe, which we are seeing. There seems to be that safety element here. Garrett expects unconditional understanding. potentially wants that sort of unconditional emotional support. Emma is possessive of Garrett. Okay, so it's on both sides. Great. Emotional dependency. It seems like from what we're seeing so far, it seems to be more on Garrett's end. Idealize each other and they may lose themselves in each other. Art is a shared interest and they sense and feel each other. I mean, we did see earlier that they are intuitive with each other. Garrett finds it easy to read Emma, and Emma feel that Garrett cannot fulfill her needs for stability. Emma's moon sextile Garrett's Pluto. Their relationship feels faded, and both their irrational sides come out. Relationship presents opportunity for both to heal from the past, and they are involved in organizations together. That we see again. That whole helping people out thing, that's nice. Intense meeting, and there's a strong bond. So now it's time for Mercury. We have Emma's Mercury in Aquarius and Garrett's Mercury in Virgo. Garrett gets impatient with Emma, and they fundamentally communicate the same way. It seems like it. Garrett teaches Emma to be more practical, and Emma teaches Garrett to be open-minded. Again, with Emma teaching Garrett to be a bit more open-minded, creative, and all of that. Emma's Mercury overlaid in Garrett's third house. Garrett will enjoy conversations with Emma. So far, it seems like on an intellectual level, they do seem to be very good with each other. I just feel like it seems like living together and actually getting in a relationship kind of, it's not meant for them. Which, I mean, it was meant to happen because, the reading falls as it does. Which, I mean, it was meant to happen, obviously. But, yeah, I just feel like, in another lifetime, they could have done it as friends, Garrett's Mercury overlaid in Emma's ninth house. Travel, culture, and philosophy are common topics of conversation. Emma is impressed with Garrett's knowledge, and Garrett gives Emma a greater perspective on life. Yeah, I feel like intellectually, these do seem to be really good. It's just everything else is, a bit questionable. Emma's Mercury trine Garrett's Venus. Garrett is attracted to Emma's intellect, and there's warm communication. Respect to each other's thoughts and ideas, and Garrett softens Emma. We're seeing again, so she seems to be really vulnerable here. They are sensitive to each other, going back to how they are intuitive together. They share mutual friends, so we did see, it does seem like they were friends before, so potentially, they shared the same social circle. Emma helps Garrett verbalize his feelings, which, I mean, can be a good or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. Because it seems like Garrett feels very safe to express his feelings to Emma. It just doesn't seem like she can nourish it to the level that he wants, if that makes sense. Emma's Mercury sextile Garrett's Mars. Garrett encourages Emma to put her thoughts into action. There's healthy competitiveness and they work well together. Garrett can take things too personally and they inspire each other to improve themselves. Emma's Mercury square Garrett's Saturn. Deep respect for the other's intelligence. I mean, I'm just going to be a record player. This whole intellectual thing is repeated again. Emma feels inferior to Garrett. Yeah, going back to how she sees him as a bit more dictatorial and everything. Emma can be intimidated by Garrett's practicality and their serious tone in conversation. Negativity and criticism take over conversation. Yikes. This is, the whole thing, cutting each other off, being more passive aggressive. Yeah. Both question their role in the relationship. Emma's Mercury sextile Garrett's Uranus. They attract opportunities as a couple, so they seem to be a social couple and able to achieve things together. I'm not sure what they did together, but that seems to be a strong element here. Emma finds Garrett intellectually stimulating, and they are perceptive and intuitive of each other. They have open communication, and they encourage the other's visions. Garrett's Mercury square Emma's Mars. They challenge each other. Differences cause irritation. Yeah, it seems like so. Definitely when it comes to each other's natural habits and everything, debates quickly turn into arguments, and Garrett is too critical of Emma, potentially why she sees him as being a bit more dictatorial. Maybe she feels that everything she does just isn't good enough, maybe. Emma has a habit of interrupting Garrett. I don't like how we're seeing on both ends they have the tendency to interrupt each other, because that seems to be a part of the relationship, them cutting each other off, interrupting each other. Living together is difficult. What a surprise! I was not expecting this at all. Emma tries to force her opinion on Garrett. This isn't good either. I don't like this. So now it's time for Venus. We have Emma's Venus in Pisces and Garrett's Venus in Libra. Willing to make adjustments for each other, and it's a gentle relationship. The whole adjustment things concerns me, because it seems like, maybe initially they thought they would be okay with that, but I feel like when you put it into practice, it doesn't actually work. Have difficulty understanding each other's needs. Emma's Venus overlaid in Garrett's 4th house. Emma feels the need to protect herself from Garrett. I don't like this. This is bad. Like, oh, sweetie. Emma has a strong attraction to Garrett, and Garrett senses Emma's hesitancy, which could provoke him in whatever way that may be. It may frustrate him and all of that, which I guess understandable to some point. If you are living with someone, you're married to someone, you have a child with someone, and the other person feels the need to protect themselves from you, I'm sure on some level that doesn't feel the best. It may, I don't feel like that would provoke a positive reaction. Uncertainty and tension characterizes the relationship, and there's strong magnetism. Garrett's Venus overlaid in Emma's 9th house. They've shared interests, and they may share the same social circles we have been seeing, and it seems to be that way. They get along well together, and Garrett has a friendly approach to Emma. Emma is accepting of Garrett, and Garrett teaches Emma how to have fun. So initially it seems like things did go well. Like, genuinely, from what I'm getting from this reading, it seems like living together itself just didn't go well. Like, Emma sees Garrett as someone she has a future with. That's sad. I mean, obviously not sad in the moment. That's nice. It's just like, knowing how things ended, it's unfortunate. Emma's Venus square Garrett's Mars. Garrett sees Emma as seductive with no substance, and Emma sees Garrett as dominant. Again, this is really... I don't like seeing this repeated, that Emma sees Garrett as this, like, dominant, narcissistic dictator. Like, that's so bad. There's jealousy and possessiveness. We did see on both sides the possessiveness. Emma's Venus trine Garrett's Saturn. Garrett stabilizes Emma's emotions, and there's a strong commitment. They sacrifice for each other. I'm sure, like, on some level they would. Like, you're marrying each other, you're having a child together, like, on both ends there would be some kind of sacrifice. They see a relationship as everlasting. I assume this will be more from Emma's end. We have seen that already on her end. So yeah. Help each other in career, and Emma admires Garrett's strength. Emma's Venus square Garrett's Uranus. They feel they cannot rely on each other, and they are separated at times. I would assume Garrett would have some kind of, like, career in, like, media, being an actor, musician, whatever that may be, which does, mean travel and everything. Garrett resents Emma's desire for commitment. This is interesting. Garrett, I feel like, seems to have a bit of conflict when it comes to Emma. Like, we literally did see that with, he either takes her for granted or appreciates her. But we also, seeing this, and we have seen before how he tends to be a bit more possessive of her and isn't a fan of her independence and everything. Yeah, we're seeing this. So, emotional roller coaster. It's not a stable relationship, and there's instant attraction, which we have been seeing. Initially, things did go well, it seems like. Garrett's Venus trine Emma's Mars. Emma enjoys spending time with Garrett, and the feeling of love never fades away. Oh, that's sad. I'm not sure how long they were married for exactly, but I don't think it was, like, super short or anything, so I have to assume that, when they started living together, there was a period of time where they were quite frustrated with each other. And potentially that would have extended because, at the end of the day, these two people do seem to love each other. Garrett makes Emma feel confident and desirable, and it's a fulfilling relationship. I mean, on some levels it is, they have a child together. You would hope that would be fulfilling. It's the product of their relationship that you would hope fulfill them. Garrett's Venus sextile Emma's Jupiter. It's materially successful, and Emma finds Garrett interesting. They trust each other, and they have an ability to get over issues. Depends what issues. I guess they see the good in each other, and they're a socially popular couple. We're seeing again. It's a relationship of growth, and they thrive in each other's company. Garrett's Venus, Trine Emma's Saturn. This is a repeated aspect, just inverted, so everything from before is further emphasized, but also Emma stabilizes Garrett's emotions, and Garrett admires Emma's strength. I definitely see Emma stabilizing Garrett's emotions. She definitely seems to be able to, help with his emotions and everything. So now it's time for Mars. We have Emma's Mars in Gemini and Garrett's Mars in Sagittarius. These are sister polarity signs and also mutable signs. They love debating and discussing together. It definitely seems that way. It's a restless relationship, and Emma may hurt Garrett with words. Emma's Mars overlaid in Garrett's 8th house. It's love-hate. Yeah, definitely. I feel like this relationship is 100%, you could describe it as love-hate. Garrett feels possessive of Emma, we're seeing again. It's transformative, and they will likely never get over each other. That's sad. We saw the whole thing with feeling love never fades away. It's just unfortunate. It seems like they do love each other. It's just actually being together. It's not the best for them. Emma feels drawn to Garrett. We're seeing again. Garrett feels like a damsel in distress around Emma. Interesting. Garrett feels mesmerized by Emma, and possibility of a taboo in their relationship. I'm not sure what that could be with these two, potentially. I don't know if there's an age difference or something. No idea. Garrett's Mars overlaid in Emma's 12th house. Emma feels uncomfortable around Garrett, and Garrett feels drained by Emma. I wonder in what way. Potentially, Emma, we did just see Emma hurts Garrett with her words. So potentially in a verbal sense, we did see as well she tends to cut him off. So potentially, talking to Emma may drain Garrett. Garrett brings out a hidden side of Emma. This also seems to be a strong element in the relationship. Emma being more vulnerable due to Garrett. Emma wants to protect Garrett, and relationship formed from having to protect one another. By itself, it's a very interesting dynamic to have when you have to protect each other. But also Emma later on potentially wanting to protect herself from Garrett. That'd be great. Emma sees the more fragile part of Garrett, so I have to assume this would be emotionally so. Their Mars signs are opposite together, so they enjoy each other's company, which we have been seeing, and it seems that way. It's just, yeah. They're competitive and lack of understanding of the other's anger. I cannot imagine this would help in their relationship at all. You could also see this as them not understanding why the other is upset with the other, and maybe not taking the time to understand the other person. Not necessarily just their style of anger, Emma's Mars opposite Garrett's Uranus. Emma needs to learn not to take Garrett's actions personally, and there's frequent arguments. Frequent arguments we keep seeing. But also in the beginning, I believe we did see the whole element they need to not take details personally, or not need to stop focusing on the details. So I assume this would be more applicable to Emma. Maybe there's a lot of little things that Garrett does that maybe she takes a bit personally and everything, which would frustrate her. Garrett's Mars, Trine Emma's Jupiter. Feel they can do anything together, and this healthy competitiveness. We keep seeing the competitiveness thing jump up every now and then, haven't we? Emma is okay with Garrett asserting himself. Oh gosh, that's not great. I feel like a lot of things that I guess drew Emma into this relationship is what ended up drawing her out of the relationship, because, if she's okay with Garrett asserting himself and then ends up seeing him as more dictatorial and everything. They have fun together and enjoy trying new things together. Shared interest in sports and travel. Emma helps Garrett get out of his comfort zone. Yeah, that seems to be a part of this relationship. That is nice. Emma helping Garrett sort of get out of his shell and everything. Garrett feels more energized around Emma. Possibly a reckless relationship. That's one way to put it. And they're a lucky couple, which we have seen, it seems like, in a more social sense, definitely popularity sense they are. Financially, that's a bit of a hit and miss here. So that was the final aspect, bringing us to the end of the reading. If you are still watching, please share your thoughts below. Definitely if you have a positive interpretation of this reading, because genuinely, this was definitely not a fun, nice reading to do. It was definitely a heavier one. So any of your thoughts would be appreciated, especially if they are positive. If you have made it this far, please consider subscribing for more. I post these weekly. Besides that, give this video a like, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!